Welcome back to Walsall Fan TV. The joy and the pain galore. We've got Carlisle next. Hi, Lee.
Hi, Simon.
You know all about pain this season. We expected you to be top of the league, and now we're top of the league, and you're at the bottom. What's going on?
Yeah, it's been a hit and miss season. Well, no, it's mostly a miss season. What I'm on about. Yeah, it's been on the pitch. Pretty much a disaster this season. It's really not gone anywhere near the way we wanted it to. Off the pitch, everything's all roses in terms of the owners. You know, they've invested so much money into the club, and really putting in a strong base for the future for this club. You know, we're in a really strong position to go forward. You just can't get it right on the pitch at the moment. That's where the real challenge is. So, yeah, it's a number of decisions were made in terms of on the pitch stuff over the last 12 to 18 months that have just been wrong, and we just have to face up to that. It kind of feels like we're getting it right now, hopefully. Mark Hughes has come in and certainly made an impact, and the fans are already believing in him, and he's got them on side very, very quickly. But yeah, the Williamson experiment, if you want to call it that, was pretty much a disaster in the end.
Yeah. Mark Hughes obviously comes with a lot of respect. People are going to listen to him, aren't they?
Yeah.
But since his Premier days, he's not done too well. He didn't do well at Bradford, did he?
Well, no. I mean, the thing with Hughes is, if you actually look at his record in the Premier League, it's actually pretty good. Everywhere he went there, he's pretty much good. I mean, QPR is an exception, but I mean, they were a basket case, so we went three managers for fun at that time. And Southampton, similar, he had fighting a losing battle there. But the jobs he did at Blackburn and Fulham, and even at City to an extent, pretty decent, really. So, and Stoke especially, he 3 ninth place finishes in a row. I think most of their fans would happily take that right now.
They would.
Absolutely. So, the thing is, when he was first announced, there was a bit of a reaction from our fans, and some of them were like, "Oh, Mark Hughes, bringing him in, whatever." I think the problem was John Brady had been strongly linked with the job. And I think the fans were feeling, he'd be a good appointment. He's got promoted from this level before. He knows what's needed at this level. He'd be great. In the end, he wasn't the one they went for. They went for Hughes. And we said on our pod that if he'd never managed Bradford before, I think most of our fans would be like, "Wow, Mark Hughes coming to this level. That's insane."
Have we got him? Yeah.
How have we got? Yeah, and the problem is, because of this faux rivalry that we've had with Bradford over the last 3 or 4 years or so, with so many different players moving between the clubs and the playoffs and stuff like that. That I think a lot of our fans were a bit blinded about that with Hughes at first, and they felt that was going to be an issue, but he's got, I'd say, the majority of the fan base on side very, very quickly. And
Williamson, I think you've had a very good response since he's arrived.
Yeah. Williamson never did that. The truth is, the fans never took to him. He was quite a quiet, and dour's probably the wrong word, but he was very reserved sort of character. He wasn't, all about geeing the crowd up. And in a fight like this, you need that. And Hughes is exactly that kind of person. He's a very passionate man, and it means a lot to him. And yeah, in terms of results, the first couple weren't great. We lost them both, but they're only by 1 goal. And then we get, a couple of 0-0 draws, and you've got a strong base there. You're getting clean sheets, and then you get a 1-0 win at Barrow. Now, we didn't play particularly well at Barrow. We were outstanding. What it was a really good away performance. We basically took our one real chance. And then from that point onwards, we just defended like hell. And then Gabe Breeze got man of the match, but he didn't actually have that much to do as a goalkeeper. So it was, 3 clean sheets in a row, 5 points out of a possible 9. Suddenly, a few weeks ago, you told me we'd actually technically now have safety in our own hands. If we win our game in hand, we go ahead of Tranmere on goal difference. So we're in a position now where suddenly, and we still got Morecambe to play as well. So it's bizarre how one result can really change the mood, but I get the impression from the Carlisle fans is that there's a sudden renewed belief of actually, we might actually be able to do this here.
Yeah, I think it's funny you say one result can change a lot of things. Well, Walsall have sort of had that.
Yeah.
If we'd have beat Swindon yesterday, everybody'd been quite happy. But it was a real tight game against Swindon. and they sort of defended really well, and they were dangerous on the attack as well. They played well, Swindon, a team in form, and they just got the one goal, and then they defended really well, and we didn't look like breaking them down for the most part. So that's my concern for Tuesday night. We won't be able to unpick the lock to get it back to winning ways, because obviously, as you guys are sort of struggling to stay in the league, we're struggling to avoid staying in the league. It's it's funny how times change. Obviously, for us, our January transfer window for like the third, fourth year running has really kicked us in the side. Nathan Lowe, they couldn't do anything about that. The guy they brought in to replace him effectively was Ethan Wheatley, which
looking at 3 games, doesn't he?
Yeah, looking at the stats, under 21 treble winner for Manchester United, scores goals for fun, tall, quick, reasonably athletic. You thought he'd be okay, but in the 3 games he played, it was clear that the fact that he hadn't played adult football, as they call it.
Yeah.
He hadn't played anywhere near League Two. I think he had a cameo for Manchester United. But I mean, it's the rough and tumble of League One, League Two. It's a big awakening. Hence why in the EFL Trophy, these under-21 teams come unstuck because they get pushed about. And he just wasn't quite ready for it. He had a couple of chances in the games he had. If either of those had gone in, I think he'd have probably pushed on.
I mean, we had a similar problem with we've signed a lad from Sheffield Wednesday on loan called Sean Fuseri, and I think he's played 3 or 4 games, and I don't want to say he's looked out of his depth because I think that's a bit harsh, but he doesn't look ready for men's football. Is the impression I've got. Yeah. He's like he wasn't really ready for this big fight in the stay in the football league. Whereas some of the other players we bring in, they actually look a little bit more up for it, and you think okay, you can see it with them, but with him, I wasn't convinced.
With Ethan Wheatley, when he came in and we were on a 9-game winning run, a team full of confidence, and some of those games had been very tight in fairness. But I mean, he came into a team on a 9-game winning run, and even though Nathan Lowe had gone, we were still winning. But it just didn't happen for him. And I think they took him out the firing line. And Ellis Harrison, who we picked up at the end of deadline day, effectively as cover for Jamil Matt, I think. But he's ended up playing alongside Jamil Matt, which it's
weird because you saying all that. I mean, Nathan Lowe wasn't exactly someone who come in with some big goal scoring reputation, was he? He just turned out to be this.
But he'd played sort of 10, 15 games in the Championship, so he played. He knew what to expect.
Yeah, that. But I mean, we've in terms of our January striking additions, that's where an area where we struggled this season to score, and we let Luke Armstrong go and learn to move well. He's doing all right there, to be fair, but he needed a fresh start. It just hadn't worked his big move to us. Both Georgie Kelly and Charlie Wake have been out long-term injured, so at the moment we're still waiting for both of them to come back. So we brought Kedwin Scott in, who had a previous spell with us briefly when he first moved from non-league football to us. And he looks a different player to the one we had originally, because he's a bit smart. He knows how to win free kicks. He's a clever player, and I think the fans quite taken to him already a bit. And then you've got Joe Hughes, who, funny enough, is on loan from Man United, but unlike Wheatley, he's actually played for Burton and Wigan and Altrincham, so he's got a good.
Well, that's what you want with a loan. If you have a loan player from a Premier League team, the first loan is always a risky one. I've just got a comment in here from the Abandoned Hunter. He's heard that Wheatley said he was too good to be at Walsall, hence he hasn't had a look in. The thing is, when, against Salford, we were 2-0 down against Salford, and he got substituted, and he sort of didn't wave to the fans or anything when he went off. And the thing is, it's in his young career, it's clear that he'd never been subbed off before. And I think he sort of went off the sulk. As it was, Walsall came back and drew that game 2-2.
Yeah. I think young players like that get a bit of a rude awakening when they come to league clubs and realise, it's easy in under 21s football when there's a handful of people there and you get
you've been pampered all your life pretty much, and then suddenly Arias, 6'3" centre half, pushes you over and you don't get a foul.
You do see that, and like we had a couple of players on loan in the first half of the season from Bournemouth, Daniel Uduje and Dom Sadi, who both went back because Bournemouth had a bit of an injury crisis. And the difference in terms of that sort of thing with them, they both got it fairly quickly. They both dug in, worked really hard. By all accounts, fantastic in terms of doing the community work as well around the county and things like that. And everyone who dealt with them said they're really lovely lads, and it's kind of a shame we couldn't have maybe kept even one of them till the end of the season. But yeah, there's the attitude has to be right when a player comes in on loan. We've had a few of them down there. I mean, one of the worst was Elias Sorensen, we had on loan from Newcastle, who had a big reputation, Danish striker. He'd quite famous on the internet because he signed. He couldn't speak a word of English when he signed, but by the time he could, he had the thickest Geordie accent you've ever heard on someone as a Dane. But he had a loan spell at Blackpool where he I don't think he even scored a goal in like 10, 15 games or something, and went back to Newcastle. Then he was loaned to us from Newcastle, and we were supposed to be told we were really grateful to get this big superstar coming on loan to us. And he was crap, and he had such a bad attitude problem as well. And Newcastle wouldn't send us another player on loan for ages after that. I was like, well, it's not our fault. Anyone who's a Carlisle fan, anyway. I remember going to a Carlisle game, and my mate always reminds me of this, is we went to, I think it was Scunthorpe away, and someone like at half time into the second half says, God, we're not doing much here. We need to get that Sorensen on. And we had to say to him, like, mate, Sorensen got subbed off at half time. He was rubbish. That's how little he was doing that you didn't even notice he was already on the pitch. So, yeah, there's a real issue, I think, with Loney. It's always a lucky dip, isn't it, at the end of the day? And look, like I said, Faziri, it's not his fault. He just doesn't look... He's not the kind of player we need right now when we have to dig out results. And then we've got Charlie MacArthur on loan from Newcastle, again, highly rated. Looks very good on the ball, very tidy, but he picked up 4 bookings in 7 appearances, and then he's disappeared out the team now, and it's kind of like, yeah, you're just not quite ready. So we've gone back to a solid base at the back now, and it's paying off. It really is.
I think for... Obviously, Mark Hughes has sort of got fresh approach, and he's made him much harder to beat. For Walsall and Matt Sadler, the team looks tired. It needs freshening up. We brought players in on loan in January, but largely they've not. The majority haven't been near the first team. Alfie Chang is very highly rated from Birmingham City.
Yeah.
And seemed like the perfect replacement for George Hall, who was on loan from Birmingham City and been doing well for us. But he went off injured. He's sort of out. He's not going to be back until probably end of March at best, which could be things could be all over by then. But Alfie Chang, we expected him to come in, but since signing in the January transfer window, he's not appeared on the bench yet.
It's strange, some of these ones, aren't they? They just sometimes you get them in and then you're like, oh God, these like
championship, 17 games in the championship.
Yeah, it's because
we've got players, the midfield players we've got there. They're shattered. They've hardly missed a game.
Yeah.
You got Jamie Jellis. It's his first season as a full-time pro.
He's been brilliant, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, yeah, but he's showing sign he's tiring. Like the last couple of games, he's asked him to play a more forward role, and he's trying little flicks and tricks and that sort of stuff, and they're just not quite coming off for him. But I mean, that's just how it is for us at the minute. It's like things are just not quite happening. But 20 minutes from the end, take him off and bring Alfie Chang on, and you've sort of got fresh impetus. But Alfie Chang, say nowhere near the 18.
Yeah, I mean, it's with us, what Hughes has done, he's tried to keep it as settled as possible, because Williams had a real habit of twisting and changing things as much as he could. I mean, it was his downfall then, because actually we had quite a good November, I think he was nominated for managers of the month. I don't think we even lost a game that month. We looked decent, but then we had our game at Newport called off because of one of the storms, and it gave him 2 weeks to obviously train with the players. And in those 2 weeks, he tweaked the team. Instead of sticking with the team that had done well and got results, including a couple of draws against Doncaster and Crewe, who were right at the top.
Yeah.
He changes the team. He takes out Callum Guy, and Callum Guy is essential to the way we play. He's such a good player. He's been with us, 5 or 6 years now, and you'll have remembered him from previous games against us. He just covers so much ground. He's such a good player at this level. And he dropped him. And then he explained afterwards, I wanted to keep him fresh for the games coming up at Christmas. As it is, Guy picked up an illness and missed the next month and a half. So
was that a mysterious illness? Because he was a bit being dropped.
Well, no one seems to, there's a few suggestions. I don't think it is true. I think he was genuinely ill, but at the end of the day, he didn't feature again under Williamson because he was ill for the rest of the time. That he was recovering from his illness. Apparently, it was something very serious. No one knows what, But yeah, Hughes has come in and he's basically said, right, I'm going to settle on the team. I'm going to find my team as quickly as I can and settle on it. And what we've now got is a base at the back, definitely, that we can work on. Our back 6, 7, if you want to include the goalkeeper, I think is going to be fairly settled for the rest of the season. I think he's going to go, right, that's what I'm going to work with.
You've got to have a settled team. Again, sort of, it's interesting you say that because Walsall also have had a very settled team. But we have had a few changes recently. Injury to Harry Williams and Oshie McIntyre came in.
Yeah.
But now Harry Williams is fit. He's not putting back in. It's like everything was going fine. Get it back to that team. And he's made a couple of tweaks and the tweaks haven't really worked. The Ellis Harrison, somebody's made a comment, and Evan Hunter's made a comment on here. I'm unsure about Harrison. He's one of those players that he goes down quite easy when he gets sort of barged in the back. And sometimes you have to get on with it. And DJ is another player who's a bit like that. But he's been so starved of minutes. He must be so fed up. It'd be interesting if DJ was brought back and perhaps started on Tuesday. That would sort of raise a few eyebrows. But he's the best finisher that we've got at the club. And against yourselves, then you're going to be quite tough to break down. We need finishers on the pitch. So maybe it is a game for him. Yeah,
interesting. I mean, Jamil Matt fit at the moment because he always scores against us.
Yeah, I think
he always scores against us.
Oh, that's nice. Our blip came when Jamil Matt missed a couple of games.
He's a big player, isn't he? At this level,
yeah,
really big player.
He's a massive player. He did never. I remember I was amazed that he never seems to win any free kicks. He's like forever knocked about by folks and never gets any free kicks or hardly any.
I mean, we had a really busy January transfer window, like 12. Well, I think it was 11, 12 in total came in the end. We got one. Hughes made one signing after he was appointed on like 2 days after the window shut. So we've had Matt Dennis, who, funnily enough, is also from NK Dons, and
Matt Dennis, he scored, didn't he?
He could have had a hat trick against Gillingham. And he was just what he was doing. He was constantly taking too many touches, and it was just really frustrating us. And I think Hughes got into him in the week in training. Said, "Look, don't be trying to get the perfect finish here. Get a touch and get a shot off, like Hughes used to do as a player. You remember, he was like unbelievable player for finishing. And what did he do against Barrow? A couple of nice flicks into him, and he takes one touch, gets out his feet, and just hits it. It was a scuff shot, but he went in the back of the net, and that's all that matters for us at the moment. So he's made an interesting impact so far. I think there's a player in there, and I think we saw on Tuesday night, he didn't actually have that many chances, but he led the line really well, and Kedwin Scott was up there with him. And I think the best signing we've probably made is Callum Whelan, though, from Gateshead. He looks a real player at this level. He surprisingly, he spent a bit of time Oldham, I think, in the past as well, but he's spent most of his recent time at Gateshead, and he's done really well there. So he looks a real good signing for us.
Well, we're hoping, obviously, on Tuesday that Walsall can get back to winning ways, but not dent your confidence too much for the games you've got coming up. Carlisle are a big team, a good following. and that sort of thing. We want them in the league. We want them in League Two. We don't want them sort of dropping back into the National League. So it'd be nice if you guys can stay up. Not at our expense, though, obviously. At the top of the league, as you've seen, Walsall's 12-point lead is sort of dwindling away. Bradford going really well at the minute, aren't they?
Well, it's amazing, isn't it? With, Andy Cook gets injured and you think, oh, that's going to ruin their season. And it's done the exact opposite. It's kick-started the season. They've had to find a different way to play. And it's really paying off for them at the moment. And fair play, they deserve to be up there because they're just getting result after result after result at the moment.
Well, it was Salford they were playing Saturday. And, I saw Salford were winning. I thought, oh, that'll do us a favour. And then I saw the equaliser going in. And then 5 minutes from time, I looked at it and I thought, Bradford are going to win that. You just know it. So I put a pound on. Bradford will win that. So I thought, if I put a pound on, it'll definitely not happen. That's my betting luck.
It did.
And so one massive £6. Would rather have lost the pound, obviously.
Yeah.
Notts County, 4th. Because like from Walsall's point of view, it would be nice to win the title, but finishing top 3 is the key, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got to be, hasn't it?
So Notts got a game in hand, but the 9 points and an inferior goal difference behind.
Yeah, we can't do you any favours there, unfortunately. We've played Notts County twice and we lost both of them. So
have you got Bradford?
We've played Bradford both twice, unfortunately. We've got Doncaster to come at the end of... I'm just looking at the table here. Doncaster at the end of March. AFC Wimbledon is in, I think, 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, Wimbledon, it'd be good to beat them.
And Port Vale are... trying to think when we're playing them. I think we're playing them on Good Friday, actually. We've played Crewe and Grimsby both twice as well. So they're the ones we've got left at the top. Which is actually good for us when you look at it. We've only got 3, well, including yourselves, we've only got 4 of the top so-and-so left to go. And most of them are in the next couple of weeks. So, hopefully.
Tough times. Lee,
it is.
We wish you well.
Thank you.
Obviously, I think you can appreciate... you can appreciate Walsall need a win to sort of keep Bradford away from us. I think the 4 teams immediately below us, Bradford, Doncaster, Notts, Wimbledon, I suppose we can include Vale in that, really. So that's 5 teams. 3 of those are going to win 3 more games than us.
Yeah. We'd be quite surprised if that did it. I think if you can get yourselves maybe 3 or 4 more wins, you should be done. Really, 80 points should be round about it.
It's all about ifs again, isn't it? Because there's so much tension and pressure. Because like as fans going into the game on Saturday, we were really sort of nervous. So if we're like that, what are the players like?
Yeah, I mean, for one thing to consider for us as well, by the way, and this is probably tempting fate for you guys, I think it's something like pushing on 90 games now since we won 2 games in a row. So,
that's good. I like that.
So I can't remember the exact figure, but it was a little while back. It was about 84, so we'll be round about the 90 mark now. Yeah. So yeah, it's a long time since we won 2 games in a row. But we've also come on the back of 3 clean sheets. We're very tough to break down.
3 clean sheets on the bounce. Brownie scored 1 in 3.
No, that's true.
Walsall, despite their troubles, scored 4 in 3, and but we've conceded 3. So that's not so good.
Yeah, but I think it'll be a very different game to the one that happened on Thursday night as well, because on Thursday, I mean, you'll have seen Barrow's pitch isn't the best, to be fair. It's a tight little ground.
Your pitch in good state, is it?
It's always in good state. Dave
Pitch,
our groundsman, does a terrific job.
Too great at the minute. We're waiting for the sunshine to improve it, I think.
Yeah, but no, ours isn't great, Nick, and it's a bigger pitch and bit more open, and we'll play a different sort of game to the one we played against Barrow. Definitely, Barrow just went there and thought, let's just get the win, and we did it.
Well, Barrow was sort of struggling a bit as well, aren't they? Barrow were tipped to do well this season. They sort of
well, they were 7th, weren't they? I think after like 8. Oh no, they were top after 7 games and just completely collapsed.
It was a really good start, and then they've lost 4 of the last 6.
Yeah.
But it's so stressful. Like, when you with promotions that you've been in, that sort of stuff. It's so stressful, isn't it? The thought, like, when you win 9 games on the bounce, you think you're unbeatable.
Yeah.
And but then when you lose a game, the confidence is knocked, and everybody thinks, oh, they are beatable, and it's like a double hit. And as I mentioned, we got quite a young team, not used to this kind of stress and pressure.
Yeah.
So it's tough. It's tough. So Matt Sadler, whether he reverts back to his first team lineup and brings Lake in and Harry Williams back in, that's one option. Or maybe he might make a bit of a switch, because Connor Barrett has been doing really well, but he's exhausted. You can see the guy is shattered. So maybe Adoma. Because it's possible that we might have a lot of possession against you. So maybe Adoma might be good on the right wing back slot for that.
Yeah. I mean, that's one actually big thing I forgot to mention about Hughes, is the fact that with Hughes, the one big problem, well, the biggest issue with Williamson was he was so stubbornly sticking to playing this 3-4-2-1, similar to what Man United play, basically. It's and what Scott Lindsay was trying to play at MK Dons till he was sacked earlier today. It's just infuriating. You're like, come on, like, change it a little bit. You're in a fight here. You don't have to stick to your but he stuck to it rigidly till the very end. And it cost him his job. Whereas Hughes has come in, he's had us playing a 4-2-3-1, but he's also switched it to a 3-5-2 during games, and he's been prepared to do that. And it's
change it around a bit.
It's just nice to see a manager who's actually capable of changing it in games, because Williamson just wasn't.
Yeah, but that's my frustration. Sometimes Matt Sadler has done a great job. He's got the team working together and everybody in the club working in the same direction. But on occasions, he's a bit slow with the making subs. In the Cheltenham game, we're winning that game 2-0. They pulled one back on 89 minutes. The board went up for 4 minutes injury time. They brought 3 players on, Cheltenham, and we didn't. We didn't bring anybody on at that point.
Yeah.
And it was when they pulled that one goal back, for me, in hindsight, it's like, hang on, bring a couple of fresh players on, and just see it out. But like, they were just so unlucky, Walsall. Like, it was a deflected shot went straight to their striker for the first, and then in the 3.5 minutes into 4 minutes injury time, a shot took a deflection off our defender's foot and went into the roof of the net. It's just one of those, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
I've just seen the question there from the Abandoned Hunter about to ask me if Barry's really a dump. The ground's a dump.
I mean, that's the one now. Yeah.
The ground is 100% a dump. I can tell you that now. It's not the best. It's better than it was, though, to be fair. The away end, that said, that it's still a rubbish view in the away end, but the ground, when you go in, so basically, if you've ever been before, it used to be where you've got like seating and a terrace behind the goal. Now they've put it looks like a goal, like a stand you see at the golf or the Formula One. It's like a temporary but not temporary stand in there with this big like white roof. We filled it. We had like 930 there for the game, and like if the away end's not full, the concourse might not be too bad. But if it's full, it's an absolute nightmare. That concourse, it gets so busy. It's ridiculous. So
it's not a place I've been, to be honest. It's a quite a long trip. You're
not missing much.
John Sadler's echoing what I was saying about how tense it was. But maybe playing on a good pitch with just maybe 200 Walsall fans there, maybe it'll sort of be a more relaxing environment for the Walsall players.
I feel like it's going to be a good atmosphere though from our fans, because I think they are lifted by that win, and the club are really trying to encourage people to go. Look, I live in Liverpool, so for me it's quite a long trip, and normally the midweek ones I just watch it on Sky Sports Plus because it's easy enough to do that now. I've got a season ticket, but our club has a really good scheme where if you can't go to a game, you can contact them and say, can you stop my ticket for this game? And they give you an extra spare ticket for another game in the future. You can claim extra tickets, so you can take a friend on, which is good. So I was going to do that for this game.
That's a good idea, though. I like that.
Yeah, but it was because of the win on Thursday night, I'm like, why not? So I'm going to go to the game on. Me and a couple of mates are going to drive up on Tuesday night for the game. So I expect to be
a long trip. How long is that going to take you to get there?
About 2 hours. It's not too bad, but I think you'll probably see a surprisingly good crowd for a Tuesday night game for us, definitely, because people really are a bit more infused.
It's fight the good fight, isn't it? Sort of the escape act, isn't it?
Yeah.
Our escape act is somewhat different. Right then, other games on Tuesday. Bradford, Cheltenham. Cheltenham are on a really good run. So hopefully they can upset Bradford. But Bradford at home are very good, aren't they, at the minute?
I mean, looking, Bradford haven't lost in the last 6, have they? And Cheltenham have only lost 1 in the last 6. So that should be a really good contest between those two. Actually, yeah, you're right.
Bromley, Doncaster. Bromley have sort of surprised a lot, haven't they?
Well,
the last 5.
Well, we played them in November, and I wasn't really that impressed by them. I'll tell you what, they're effective. They're very effective. They know what
they're going to do, don't they? Oof it into the box and that sort of stuff. Get the knockdowns.
Get around cheek, that kind of thing. Absolutely, that's exactly what they're about. But yeah, I wasn't that. But fair play to them. They're right up there. You can't argue with they're on the table. They're probably just a bit too far off the playoffs. I can't see anyone. To be honest, I can't see. I
think they'll be happy there. I think as far as teams that might make the playoffs, I think
it's down to 8th.
Yeah,
for me, I think it's down to 8th. I can't see. Can I see Salford make up that the 7-point gap to?
Well, they've lost 3 on the bounce. Colchester, 3 draws, but I mean Colchester have really improved. I think they're still in with the shout, and I think perhaps Cheltenham's still in with the shout as well.
Yeah.
And Swindon perhaps a bit far away, but
probably.
We're wanting the games to run out, and you're wanting them to extend. That's the difference.
Well, yeah. As long as we can get, to be honest, as long as we get ahead of Tranmere and Morecambe, I don't think we really care what happens after that. Once that's done, we're quite happy with it.
Nice one, Lee. Thanks for coming on.
Okay, no problem at all.
Enjoying the pain.
Catch you in a bit.
Enjoy it. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.